I hope you guys are able to see my screen and able to hear me as well, correct? All right, okay. And sorry for the delay, guys. Okay, I got stuck up in one call. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay. Now let's wait till Eclipse gets open. And any one of you have any doubt in the last class or anything, feel free, guys. No doubt?
I think you haven't sent us the videos.
Videos actually I have uploaded. Okay, so uploaded in the same what you call that?
URL.
Yeah, so same playlist. Okay, but anyway, I'll send you guys the link as well. Okay.
Okay.
Ankit won't be joining today because he had some other work, he said.
Okay.
Hello, Vishal.
Hi Shivam.
Yeah, yes, if you want to describe in a line like what is methods, so the correct definition, what is this? Like,
I'm basically weak at the definitions, but they say if you go to the on the online they say that method is set of instructions. Okay, method is a set of instruction. That is what they say. Okay, but
okay,
that is what you can say because this is what I found on the internet.
okay, okay, okay,
And you set of instructions which are arranged for doing a specific task. Okay, that is important. Okay, so every method will have some task. Okay, so that is what you have to say. Okay, so that is the so
like the advantages of method like code reusability, correct?
that's correct. Okay, that is what we discussed other day as well. Yeah, if you see the last fourth class, okay, if you see the recording, that is exactly what we have discussed. It's all about code reusability. Okay, so that is the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more question.
Yeah.
Like in the code you have written public, static, void, and greet. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and in the code you have written public, static, void, greet.
Correct.
Like greet is a method. Like, and what is this? Like public, static, void. Like three
Yeah, that is
words.
what
Like,
told you guys. This is not. If I try to explain about public static at this point of time, I'll be probably confusing you. So unless we learn objects in Java, I cannot tell you what is this public, what is this static. That is the thing. You will learn today or tomorrow's class what is void. That alone you will learn. Okay. But for learning public and static, you first need to learn the objects. Okay. So as of now, understand only this is the method name. That is it.
okay. Method is a function. Like, it is a function we call as method. Like, it is similar concept as function.
Yes, it's a similar concept as functions, but in Java they call it as methods. In C, I believe they call it as function. That's just the name change.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Yes.
there
In
is
the
nothing.
C, it is called as function. Like the arguments are declared, formal and actual arguments.
So here it is just the methods. Okay, just the name change.
Okay. And one more query. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Like in the earlier program, you have written the boolean. Like boolean, it is a data type.
Yes, Boolean is a data type.
Okay. Like when we compare the values, then we use boolean operator, right? Data type, like.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So what is the doubt?
1 second. I have noted down. 1 second. Can you offer the program in which you are comparing the strings?
No, strings, I told you that strings, if have you gone through the recordings? Strings, I have told you that is
Yeah.
not the correct way to compare two strings. So let's not go to this one. I said this is not the correct way. See here, what I'm saying here in the comment, should not use double equals operator when comparing the strings. So don't worry about the string comparison. But if at all you are
Okay.
telling me to compare, you are talking about the integer comparison, yes, we can see that. So what's the doubt here?
No, integer comparison is clear to me.
Okay, that's what string comparison I already told you guys. This is not the correct way. Why it is not the correct way? You will learn only when we learn objects in Java. Okay?
String is a collection of characters. Like, is my understanding correct?
It's an array of characters. Yes, it's not collection of characters. It's an array of characters. Yes, that's right.
Okay. Okay, fine, fine.
All right. Yeah. But don't worry about the string comparison because this is not the correct way. This is what I have told here, guys. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right, guys. So other day, what we have seen is we have seen this particular not this. I have told you why we use methods. Okay. I have told you I have written this code, but I have again told you don't worry what is this code. Okay. Understand that if you don't have this method created, then this code, this entire code has to be repeated here, it has to be repeated here, it has to be repeated here, it repeated here. If at all this code, this method is called 100 times, you have to actually repeat. If at all you don't use this method, you have to actually repeat the code. That's the reason we go for the methods. Okay, that's the most important thing, guys. Okay, now we also learned that how to create a method. Okay, this is a basic method, and I told you this greet method doesn't take any argument, no argument. This greet method doesn't take any argument. Okay, that's the thing. But when I told you about this greet method takes two string arguments. Okay, that is what I have told you guys. Now, are you guys able to understand these two things? Method with arguments and methods without arguments. Okay, method with arguments and method without arguments. Okay, so this greet method, what you see here, this is the method name is greet, and it takes two string arguments. So whoever is calling this method has to pass two string arguments. That is what we have said. Okay, so this is a method with argument. Okay, and in the same way we have also discussed this is a method without arguments. It's a method without argument. Yeah, go ahead, Shivam.
Vishal, can you repeat? Can you repeat it one more time? Actually, there is a network drop, so I missed that concept. But you taught.
No, I said this is a method without argument, and this one is a method with argument. That is it. Nothing more than this. So,
Okay.
are you able to identify if I tell you, if I give you some method, okay? So I'll tell you like something like this. If I write one method like this, public static void hello int x. Is this the method with argument or without argument? Can you tell me?
It is a method of with argument.
Yeah, method with argument. Okay, so that is what you need to understand. So now you guys able to understand what is a method with argument and what is a method without argument. Okay. Now,
Yes.
apart from this, there are one more concept, that is what we'll be seeing now, guys. Okay, just a minute. Okay, there is one more concept, and that concept is called as, yeah, go ahead, Nidhi.
Vishal, one thing, you have defined the method by saying public static void create and within arguments. I want to ask if there is any other method, another way to define the method, like you have used static keyword in void as well.
Correct.
So, so we can define any method with other way also, like using final keyword, or I don't remember the thing.
Yes, that is all we'll be seeing.
Okay.
That is
Okay. Okay.
exactly we'll be seeing. But what I'm trying to say is here, I'm trying to tell you guys, whatever we have discussed till now, we have discussed from this point onwards till here. Okay.
Okay.
Now the next step is I will be talking about what is this void. What is this void? Okay. And this public static, we will be seeing it later. Okay. So yes, I will tell you, we will be seeing all kinds of methods, guys. Okay, all kinds of methods, whatever you can think of. Okay. Instead of public, if we give private, what will happen? If you remove the static, what will happen? Everything will be learning. Okay, that is the thing. But I cannot tell you something now itself, because that way I'll be confusing you. Okay, so that is the thing. So don't worry. Just at till now, whatever I have discussed, assume that you have to have this one for every method. Okay, just assume it. Okay. And now you are able to understand only one thing, that is, this is the method name and these are the argument. Okay, these are the argument. Now the next thing is say this method does a specific task. Okay, what this method does, if I give two names, it is just printing these two names. Okay, now I'll create one more method. Okay, one more method, and I will say method name is method RT. Okay, I'll say method with RT. Okay, I have created this class. Okay, and in this there is a main method, and I will say public static void sysoup 10 plus 22. If I run this program, static void, I'll say, if I run this program, can you tell me what will be printed on the console? Any clue, guys? What will be printed on the console?
32.
Okay.
No, sorry. No, I think it's wrong.
Okay.
Some default value, I think.
First of all, tell me whether this particular method will be executed or not.
No.
No, that's because I'm not calling this method. See, if I run this method, no,
Yes.
run this class, okay.
Yes, yes.
So it's not gonna print me anything. That's because I'm not printing anything. Okay. So if at all, first thing that you need to know is, if at all you want to execute that method, you have to call it from the main method. Okay. So that is the first thing that you need to know. Now if I say, what will happen? It will execute the first line in the main method, that is the method, and it will go ahead here and it will print 32 on the console, guys. It will print 32 on the console. And if I run this now,
But we haven't.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
But we haven't applied any sum operation on the numbers.
What you said, I did not catch that, Nidhi.
We haven't applied any sum operation on the numbers. Like
Okay,
we have only
what we are doing here, 10 plus 22.
10 plus 22.
Yes. So actually, I will give you some brief about this println statement. Okay, I'm going one step back here. Okay, I'll tell you something about this one. Say, let's understand. If I say int x equals to 22, int y is equal to 1. Okay, and I will say string name is equal to Shivam. Okay, now can someone tell me, if I say x plus y, okay, if I say x plus y, what will be the result, guys? I have to store it in what kind of variable? What should be the data type I have to store it in?
Data type integer.
Okay, I can say int, say I'll say sum, correct? And I can print this SYSOUT sum. All of you are able to understand, or any doubt here? No doubt? Okay. But what if I do here something like this? X plus name. I have to store it in what? Any clue, guys?
I don't know.
Not sure, right? Okay, no issues. We have not discussed this. Okay, we have not actually discussed this. Let me tell you, when you concatenate a number, sorry, if at all there are two numbers and that you put this plus sign, it will act as a addition operator. Okay, addition operator. But if you have one number, x is a number and name is a string, it will act as concatenation operator. Concatenation operator. Okay, what it will do is it will concat x is what, 22, with Shivam. It will be 22 Shivam. That will be the output, and it will be giving you a string, guys. So you can say string, I'll say hello. Okay, you can store it in string, and if I say SYSOUT, hello, sorry, hello, if I say hello, it will gonna give me 22 Shivam. 22 Shivam. Any doubts here? Feel free, guys.
Can you tell it one more time?
Yeah. What is the exact doubt here?
Like the 13th and the 14th line.
Yeah. What is the doubt?
Uh, Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear me? What is the exact doubt?
Actually, I did not understand like string hello equal to x plus name.
Okay. Now, if at all there is a number and number, you are having a plus operator between two numbers, it will add as addition operator. Okay, and it will add those numbers. But if you use this operator in between a number and a string, it will act as a concatenation operator. Concatenation operator. Concatenation means it will join x with 22. That's the reason it is giving you value of 22 Shiva. That is what we discussed.
Okay.
Any doubts here? Anyone? Now say you have a boolean. True. Okay. If you say flag plus name, it will always give you string. So if one of the operand, okay, when you are using this addition operator, if one of the value is a string, the entire thing, it will act as a concatenation operator. The entire thing will be acting it like a string. Everything will be getting converted into string. That is what you need to understand. See, this is the output. Any doubts, any one of you? So if you concat anything with a string, the result will be string. That is what you need to understand, guys. If you concat anything with a string, the result will be string.
The 17th line, like string hi equal to flag plus name. The hi is a variable and equal to flag. Flag is true
Okay.
plus name.
Yeah.
Like plus name, and you printed out like hi. Like this concept like still confusing to me, like
So
how it
what?
print true Shiva.
No, what I said. What happens if you concat anything with a string? What happens? I said. If you
It will
concat
print it like
anything with a say something, okay, something. Say what I'm saying is, this is the question to you. I have something, some data type, int, float, or boolean. I don't know what is this. Okay, anyone, boolean plus a string. What I said, what happens when you do this? One side int or float or boolean something is there, and other side string is there. This one will act like what?
you told me like it's a concatenation operator plus like int plus string, like you have to write down string plus like the name plus x
No,
plus.
no. Like what I said, how this plus operator works. What will happen when you concatenate anything with a string? What will be the result?
The result is like if you want to print like integer number 10 and the string name is like
So
xyz,
this is
like
yeah. So this basically works as a concatenation operator. I said correct.
yes.
So that is what is happening. So there is a value of true, and you are joining that true with name. Name is having what? Shivam. It joins it.
Oh,
So like this here.
okay, okay, fine, fine, fine.
Okay. So anything, if at all,
Uh,
see, you join anything with a string, the output will be string, and it will works as a concatenation operator. The left hand side might be anything: int, float, boolean, long, double, anything you join with string, it will act as a concatenation operator. That this is what I want you to understand. There is no other concept. This is the only concept. Any doubt?
okay,
Anyone?
fine.
No doubt? Okay guys, but feel free guys if there is any doubt. Okay. Now can someone tell me? Okay, this is okay. Now Nidhi, any doubt here in this?
Vishal, I want to confirm one thing. Like you have written 10 plus 22. So we, if it is not required to store that thing in some variable.
No, not required. That's correct. It is not required.
Oh, oh, okay, fine.
Okay, that is the thing. Now can you guess and tell me what will be the output of?
One more question, Vishal.
Yes, go ahead.
Uh, Always we have to declare a method inside the main function.
No, we are not. No, main. No, there is. Don't call main function. Main method it is. There is no nothing called as function. Let's not use that term. No, this method is has been defined here. The main method
Okay.
starts from here, ends here, but your method is defined here. Why do
No,
you say that it is inside the main method?
I'm I'm talking about declaration of like a method add number.
Yeah,
It's
this is where it
inside.
is declared at line number 10, right? Which is in outside the main method.
Add number is calling. We are calling the method.
Oh, you are talking about the calling.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, calling can be done from any method. That is the thing. Okay. It is
Okay.
not that always you have to call from a main method, but we have not yet reached there. But it is not always necessary that we will be calling from the main method. Okay. So there might be something like this. Okay, but before I'll tell you, I'll come back to that. But can you guys tell me what will be the output of this particular program if I run this?
10 weeks.
Yeah, it will be 10 needy. Okay, so that is the thing. Say you have one more method called as greet, public void greet. Okay, I have this method called as greet. What I can do is I can call this method here. What will gonna happen is I'll say public static. what will gonna happen is, first it will call this method, it will print 10 nidhi, then it will call this method, it will say hi, how are you? Okay, let me know if any one of you have any doubt here in this output. No? Okay, now tell me guys. Okay, same way, instead of calling, now Shivam has asked me this question, always we need to call a method from the main method? No, it's not necessary. You can call greet method from add numbers method. Now what will gonna happen is, first call will be made put to the add numbers method. First line in the add number method is again a call to a method. So first hi how are you will be printed, hi how are you will be printed, and after that 10 nidhi will be printed. Let me know if any one of you have any doubt in this. Feel free guys. So we just discussed, it is not necessary that always call to a method should be from the main method. A call can be made from any method. I'm calling this greet method from here, from add numbers method. Any doubt guys? Any one of you? No? Okay. Then tell me guys, okay? This is one more thing I want you to understand. What will be the output of this particular program? Okay, then okay, just give me think about all these things, okay, and give me 2 minutes guys. Okay, I'll be right back. I want you guys to tell me what will be the output of line number 6, line number 7, and line number 9. Okay, think about it, and I'll be right back guys. Okay, just give me 2 minutes. All right, guys. Sorry for keeping you guys waited. Okay. Now, yes, guys. So Nidhi has answered. Okay. Nidhi has pinged me and gave the answer for all the 3 questions. Okay. Shivam, do you have any answer? What will be the output?
I'm pinging you. 1 second.
You there? Okay, I think Shivam is not able to hear me. Okay. See guys, the output of this one
Hello.
is 10 plus 20 plus 30. It will be what?
Vishal,
60.
are you able to hear me, Vishal?
This one is
Hello.
hi, hello. But what happens when you here what will happen is what I told you guys. Okay? When you add a string with a number. No, no, Shivam, we are not able to hear you, Shivam.
Hello.
Shivam has given a ping saying that, are you able to hear me? Okay. Now, in this case, what is happening is first the execution starts from left to right. Okay, and when we say execution starts from left to right, it is like first the sum is equal to, that is a string gets concatenated with number 20. So it will be sum is equal to 20. Okay, so the result will be of this particular thing. First it will say, it will concatenate sum is equal to 20. So you will get a string called as sum is equal to 20. That string you are in turn concatenating with value of 30. So your final result will be sum is equal to 20, 30. This will be your final result, guys. Okay, and you guys are able to understand why it is giving you sum is equal to 20, 30. Any doubt? Let me see, show you guys. This any doubts? Any one of you? Oh, I have muted my thing, I believe. Shivam, can you try to talk now? I'm so sorry, Shivam.
Uh, Hello. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes. It was my problem. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Actually,
Okay. Fine.
problem was not from your side. When I was on call, I had muted it and it was in mute. I'm so sorry, man. Okay. Yeah. Uh, that's what, because you rejoined and I'm still I was not able to hear, and that's the reason I checked this. Okay. I'm sorry about it. Yeah. So what I'm saying, uh, are you able to understand why this output, the most importantly, the third line is sum is equal to 20, 30. Are you able to understand it? If not, we can discuss.
Yes. Can you tell me like the third line, like sum equal to 20 plus 30?
Yeah, what is happens is when this line gets executed, okay, this is what is the thing. Okay, first what happens is your always execution happens from left to right. Okay, execution goes from left to right. When I say execution goes from left to right, first these two will be calculated. Okay, that is a string will be concatenated with 20. So the output will be sum is equal to 20. It is basically getting concatenated. Now what you are saying is plus 30 you are saying. So next output will be sum is equal to 20, 30, because first this string gets concatenated with this number 20, so output will be this sum is equal to 20, 30. And once this sum is equal to 20, sum is equal to 20, and then it is again getting concatenated with 30, so its output will be sum is equal to 20, 30. That is the thing. Any doubts we can discuss, guys? First these two gets added and its output will be again concatenated with this value. That's the reason you are getting this sum. Any doubt, any one of you? Feel free, guys, we can discuss this. This is important to know. No doubt? Okay. Then you might be wondering, if at all I want to display it like this, sum is equal to 50. I want to display it like this. What you need to do, all you need to do is put these things into square braces like this. That's it. Now I'm gonna do that. I'll put this, there is one brace here and there is one braces here. Now if you run this, sum is equal to 50. That's because what it will do now, also it will go from left to right, but first this string will be concatenated with this one. So first when it is trying to concatenate string, it will try to concatenate it with this value 20 plus 30. So it is concatenate sum is equal to 50, and that is what we are getting here, guys. Okay, this is what you need to understand about concatenation of this plus operator, how the plus operator behaves in different scenarios. Any doubt? No doubt, guys? Okay. Now coming back to methods, you have understood a lot of methods which are actually methods. Can you tell me? Okay, let's not go there. Okay, so we have understood, okay, which methods to call. Okay, okay, like this. Fine, guys. Now all this while you say I can create a method like this. Okay, I'm creating a class named method with RT. Okay, now there is a method say public static void add, and it takes two arguments, int num1 plus comma int num2. Now can you guys tell me which is the correct way of calling this method? Okay, add Okay, this is one way. Second way is add I. This is the second way. The third way is add so among these, which is the correct way of calling this method? Can anyone tell me? The first way or the second way or the third way?
Third way.
Third way?
Mm.
That is correct. Okay, I'll uncomment all these three lines. This method takes two numbers. Okay, so we have to pass two numbers, correct? I'll just give this semicolon. Sorry, I missed to give the semicolon. So I am passing two numbers. This method takes two numbers, so I have to pass two numbers, guys. I cannot pass two strings. Here also I am passing two strings. Here also I am passing two strings. So this is the wrong way, and this is also a wrong way, guys. The correct way is the third way. Okay, correct way is the third one. This is the correct way, guys. Now, can someone tell me what will be printed on the console if I run this program?
You have to write down system.out.println
What will be
also.
printed? No, will it print something now? Now what will be printed without writing any system.out.println? Will it print something?
No.
No, that's right. Okay. Yes, but if you want to print, you have to do that system.out.println. Okay. So I hope you are understanding. Okay. So you might say SYSOUT sum of the numbers is equal to plus num1 plus num2. Okay. Now if I run this class now, it will print the sum of the numbers is 5. If you give 200 or 200 and 300 or 200 for 355, it will say sum of the numbers is 555.
Vishal, in case
Yeah.
in case instead of int we take string,
Okay.
and for that we can store in some variable and call the method. It will work.
Instead of this int, you want to declare these two as string.
Yes.
Okay.
So inside the main method we can store the, or we can directly call the method by passing the value.
Okay. Let me know if this is what you are talking about, string, and you will
Yes.
say Nidhi, and this is what you are asking.
Yes. And okay. So we need to add the number. That's why we have write the println statement and concatenate the add the two numbers, num1 and num2.
Mm, no, I did not catch that.
Okay. First in the add method, please change into string num2. You have written
Yeah,
string
yeah. So
num1.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, string. Yes, correct.
Yeah. String num2.
Okay, string num2, right? Yeah, num2. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. Instead of method add is a predefined function method in the Java.
No, this method we are creating. This is our own
Okay.
method.
Okay. So I want to print Nidhi and India. So I just need so in that case also I need to print uh, sys println statement.
No, without using
Yes.
system.out.println, how will you print something on the console? Is there any way to print something on the console without using this system.out.println?
Yeah. Yeah.
There is no way.
Yeah.
So was that your doubt? Is there any way to print, or what was the doubt exactly?
I was thinking something else.
I'm sorry.
I was thinking something else. Okay.
Okay. See, it's like it's up to you what you want to print inside println statement. Now, if you run this class, it's gonna give you some of the numbers is Nidhi India. Yeah. Any doubt, Shivam?
No doubt.
Okay. Nidhi, any other doubt? You can ask me.
No, no
No?
issue, no issue.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So this is what I have told you. Okay. So let me go back to what actually we wanted. Int, and this is also int. And if I have to pass then int, okay, because it is taking integer, so I have to say 200 and some value as 6, okay, so that when I run this program, int num1, this is also int. What is the problem here, guys? Okay, sorry, num2. Okay, now it's gonna give me 206. But what you guys think, guys? Always method will print something on the console. Method will always print something on the console. No, guys. In real world, 99.9% of the methods will not print anything on the console. Whatever we have seen so far, always we used println statement to see our output. But is that the case in the real world? When you write the Selenium framework, always you will print something on the console? No, that's not the reality, guys. In real world, 99% of the time, or 99.99% of the time, you will not there will not be any method which just does printing. You will not have any method which will just does printing work. No. So what are the methods? What might method, you know, what all method might contain? Okay, say there might be a method which takes two numbers. There might be a method which takes two numbers, and what it will gonna do is Here right now what it is doing, it is just printing the sum of these two numbers, but it is not necessary, guys. Okay, there might be a thing method which calculates the sum, something like this: int sum is equal to num1 plus num2. It calculates the sum, but it will not print. Instead, what it will do is it will give it will find out the sum, and it will give this sum back to calling function. Main is called calling function because main is calling add method, and add main is called calling function, and add is called called function in this scenario. Okay, so what is happening here is main method is calling this add method. Okay, add method is finding out the sum. Okay, if you want, you can print it here, sum, but 99% of the time there will not be any method which will just print something on the console. Instead, it will calculate the sum. It will calculate the sum. It will give back sum to this called method. If at all this method has to give back or return this sum, this method, add method, has to return the sum. Sum is of type what? Sum is an integer, correct? Sum is an integer. So first step is you have to instead of void, you have to say int. That's the first step. Instead of void, it was void, I am using int because this method now will return me the sum. It will calculate the sum and it will return me, guys. And you have to use a keyword called as return sum. These are the two basic steps. You have to, instead of void, you have to say int, and you have to return, once you say int, you have to return some integer. Sum is an integer, correct? So you are returning it. Now if you call this method, you can, whatever it is returning, this method is returning what? An integer, correct? Int, I'll say returned value is equal to add 200, 600. You can say SYSOVP returned value. Now this method is called, this add method is called method which takes two arguments and it returns an integer value, that is the sum. Now if I run this, what will gonna happen is this 200 will be assigned to this value called num1, 6 will be assigned to a variable called num2. It will calculate the sum, that is 6206, and you are returning this sum, and this sum will be assigned to this variable called as return value, and I'm printing that the return value, guys, here. If you pass 706 or anything, you will get back the sum of that particular thing. These kinds of methods are called method with return type. This is called as return type, and with argument. Since this method,
Vishal,
yeah, go ahead.
uh, can you explain it once again?
Yes, definitely. Okay. So if at all say what I said, the method 99% of the time method will always return you something. Okay, if you see in the real world, or at least I can say method will not be there just to print something. Okay, method will have, okay, so method, what they say, method is a set of instructions which does a specific task. That is what is the definition of method. So what this method does is, this method takes two arguments, two integer arguments. It will calculate the sum of those two numbers, two integers, and then it will return this sum to the called method. It will return the sum to the called method. Okay, and if you want to make a method which returns something, you have to first decide. Say someone tells you create a method. Okay, say I'll say public static is common, public static. Okay, create a method which takes two argument. Okay, void two argument. I'll say full name, method name is full name. Okay, or method name is get full name. If someone tells you create a method and the method name is full name, it takes two string arguments. You will say string first name and some variable name, comma, string last name. Okay, now you have created a method which takes two string arguments. Okay, now if I tell you, hey Nidhi, go ahead and create a method which takes two string arguments, you will say, okay boss, I have created the method. Okay Vishal, I have created the method which takes two string arguments, but what you want me to do, what this method should do? I will say method should print me the full name. Say if at all I give Vishal and India, it should print first name plus, there is some space, plus last name. Now if I call this method, right, okay, if I call this method get full name, and if I pass Vishal and say Aryani, if I call this method, what will gonna happen is it will gonna print me my full name, that is Vishal Rani. Okay, and this is fine. Okay, so Nidhi will say, okay, you wanted me to print, okay, I am, this is the implementation. First I told her create a method which takes two string arguments. Okay, that time I have only written this much because I had only written, sorry guys, this much. This method takes two string arguments, but later on I told her what, this method should print my first name and last name, okay, as if it's my full name. So she did like this. Okay, this is also perfectly fine, but now I'm telling her, no Nidhi, I don't want you to print, just just create my full name. Okay, my full name is string, I'll say full name. Okay, I'll say just create my full name. Okay, so I'll say first name, what Nidhi will say do is she will do something like this, plus last name. Now she has created my full name. I have given her first name and the last name. She has created my full name. Okay, and she has stored in a variable. Now she will say, okay, as you said, I have created a method which takes two string arguments, and later on you told me not to print the full name. Instead, you save it in some variable, and she did it. She's saving my full name in this variable. Then she's asking me, what you want me to do next? I will say, no Nidhi, whenever I call this method, no, if I give the full name and the first name and the last name, that method should return me my full name. Method should return me the full name. So what you will do, okay, you want me to return the full name. So full name is of type what? String, correct? You have to say string here, and you have to use the keyword called return full name. Okay, now you will say, okay Vishal, as you said, I have created a method called get full name. It takes 2 string arguments, and using those 2 string arguments, it finds out your full name, and once it finds out your full name, it is returning you that full name. Okay, and now you can call this method, and you can save your full name. For example, string something f name, that is full name, is equal to get full name. Now when you call this method, my full name will be stored in this variable called f name. Okay, and you are free to go ahead and do whatever that you want to do with this name, f name variable. It's basically f name variable will have my full name. See, these are methods are called as methods with return type. The first method returns me the sum, that is an integer. Second method returns me a string, that is the full name. Feel free guys, these classes are very important. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask me. And this is one of the most confusing part of your Java.
Hi Vishal.
Yeah, hi Ankit.
If I need to print my full name without f name variable, then how?
Here in the main method you are saying?
Yes, in the main method, yes.
Okay. Main method say you don't want to store it in some variable. Okay. Instead say this is like you are storing it in no variable. Okay. But if you don't want to store it in variable, you say sysout.
Yes.
And you call this and put it here. Now what will gonna happen is, when this line gets executed, it will call this method, full name method, and it will return, it will come back here, and it will gonna print you the full name. That's it.
So what is the correct procedure? Means
Okay,
creating
now
a
what is
variable
the
or
correct procedure? Yeah, and I understand that. What is the correct procedure is, normally 99% of the time you will not be calling some method just to print something. Okay, always you will call a method to get value, and you might do something to do with that. Say for example, in this case, okay, in this case, what you are getting one value, you are getting the sum. Okay, you might find out the something to do with that sum. Okay, you might do a square root of that particular sum, you might find out the square root. Here I'm just printing. Okay, but in 99% of the time you will not always print. Okay, there will be things like you will do something with this returned value. Okay, so if at all your requirement is, once you get that return value, your requirement is to process that return value. Okay, do some more things. Okay, say once you get this sum, say next you want to do what, you want to calculate, uh, you know uh, what is the you want to find out what is the half of that sum. Okay, so you will say int half is equal to return value the by 2. Okay, say you want to find out what is the mean of that particular, half of that particular sum. Okay, so you might do any operation here on the sum. You got the sum here in the return value, you might do some operations, okay, 10 different operations. That time it always makes sense to store it in variable and then do something, whatever that you want to do. But your requirement is just to print, then this is fine. But your requirement might not be to just to print, okay. You might say, once you get the full name, okay, once you get the full name, maybe you want to print the length of that particular thing, so that time, this one will not work. Line number 13 will not work. It will just print something. Say, if you have like this, then you can do what you can do. You say you want to find out the length, okay, you will say fname dot length, okay. But don't worry, I have not taught you this, okay, how to find out the length. You will not understand unless I teach you about objects, so don't be worried about this at this point of time. But what I am trying to tell you is, if at all you want to do some more processing on that return value, you got that value, you want to do some more processing, it always makes sense to store it in some variable and then do whatever that you want to do with it, okay. So I will say storing it in some variable and then processing it makes more sense, because that is what we will be doing in real time. In 99% of the time, that is what we'll be doing. Any other question, guys? Any one of you?
Yes, I have one more question.
Yes, please.
If I want to return first name and last name separately, not the full name.
Okay. You
Then
mean to say two different return value, correct?
Same
Yeah.
method, I have to return different values.
No, that is not possible in Java. That is not possible in Java. But what is possible, I'll tell you. Okay, slightly different is possible. Say there is a method. Okay, so okay, I'll show you. Okay, but one thing, from a method you cannot return two different value. Okay, so I'll tell you something. Okay. Say there is a method, and method takes find big number. Okay, find big number. Okay, so it takes two numbers. Okay, and it will return you the biggest number. Now what it will do is, it might say if num1 is greater than num2. Okay, see here guys. Okay, I will say int big number. Also I'll say big num, okay, is equal to, initially I'll say 0. Okay, 0 I'll say. Okay, I'll say here if num1 is bigger than num2, I'll say big number equals to num1. Okay, else I'll say big number is equal to num2. Okay, now at the end I will do what? I will say return big number. Now what will gonna happen is, if at all you're calling this method, you're passing 700 and 600, it will first, num1 will have 700, num2 will have 6. It will check whether num1 is greater than num2. Yes, num1 is greater than num2. So I am assigning this num1 to big number. So initially big number was 100. So at this point of time, big number will be 700. Big number will be 700, guys. and it will not go to else condition, and I'm returning this big number. So here what we are doing, depending on the condition, one among these two will be returned. Okay, if at all I say, now if I say SYSOUT, I'll say return value, it will say 700, and if at all I say 400 and the second value is 777, now it will give me 777. See, but you cannot have a method which returns two values at the same time, but depending on the condition it might return this value num1 or num2, but you cannot return both as such. So coming back to your question, Ankit, you want to return the first name also, the last name also at the same time? No, that is not possible in Java. But you can have some logic written inside your method. Depending on that logic, whether you want to return the first name or the last name, you can decide depending on the logic. But you at the same time you cannot return both. That is not possible. But good question though. It's a really good question.
Okay, and anything below the return, that code will not be executed.
Perfectly
Anything
correct.
below the return.
Perfectly right. So what Ankit is telling is, say here there is a return line, okay, and after that I'll say SYSOUT, hey, how are you? It is giving you the compilation error. What it is saying, unreachable code. Unreachable code. So it will not let you type itself. Okay. But what Ankit is saying is, anything that you return in a method, anything you return after this return statement, that will not be executed. And in fact, Java is not letting you type itself. It is giving you this compilation error. These kinds of errors are called compilation error, guys. Okay. And what it is saying, unreachable code. This code, whatever code you have written here on line number 21, that is unreachable. Means remove that code, because that code will never be executed. Okay. So that is called as unreachable code. Okay. But it is not always true, guys. It's not always true. Okay. If I say here, if I say return big num, okay, so it's not always true. Don't get too much confused about it. Here it is fine, because now if at all you do here in between these two braces, if you write something here is SYSOUT hi, now this code will never be executed. Okay, so that is the thing, guys. Okay, so I'll just remove it. Any other doubt, guys? Feel free. I mean, I really appreciate you guys asking the questions, and you know that's what makes the class more lively, guys.
Why we have initialized the int big number equal to 0
No,
for
it's
the condition,
not.
if condition?
There is a problem in Java. Okay, there is actually a problem in Java. What I'm doing, you know, you see what happens. Okay, this is again a very good question, Ankit. Okay, really appreciate this. Okay, now say it is working. As of now, it is working, and it's working fine. Okay, but there will be a lot of scenarios wherein, you know, if you don't initialize it, okay, if you don't initialize it, then for example, you will say, again, I'm not sure here it will work or not. Most of the time what will happen is Java will not be able to see. It's like what I can say is Java will not be able to see code, Java compiler will not be able to see the code which is inside this braces. Okay, and sometimes it will give you an error saying that this big num has not been initialized. Okay, big num,
Yes, yes.
yeah. So that is the only reason I had assigned it to 0. Okay, so that is the only reason. Okay, for example, if I don't worry what I'm typing here, but you know, I'm trying to reproduce what I'm trying to say here. See, don't worry what is this try catch and all. We will be learning all these things. Okay, there is something called as exception handling. See, now since it is in try catch block, what it is saying, local variable big number may not have been initialized. Okay, to avoid these kinds of error message, I had used that thing, but here it is fine. You know, you need not initialize. It is not giving you that error, but sometimes it gives you an error. That's the only reason I had initialized it to 0. Okay, that's the thing. Any other doubt, guys? Please feel free, guys. No, if there is no doubt, that's it for today, guys. Okay, I wanted to actually take class till 10:30. Okay, but you know it went till 10:45. But that's a good thing. Okay, you guys asked a lot of questions, and I appreciate you guys asking all these questions. Okay, so understand the method which returns something. Okay, so there is one kind of method wherein you know we will not be passing anything to the method, but it will return me something. Once that is done, we are done with the methods. And once I wanted to send you guys the assignments on the weekend, but I thought let me finish off the methods altogether. That's when I'll be sending the assignments. Okay, so that is the idea, guys. I'll be uploading these recordings by tomorrow early morning because it takes time to get converted. Okay, so conversion will take around 1 hour, and after that you know I'll try to upload it, guys. Okay, so that's it for today. Unless you guys have any doubt, you know, you can drop the line, guys. Thanks a lot.
Bye, Vishal.
Yeah, bye, Ankit.
Bye.